Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Smite Pro League game number 2. My name is hi-rez Barta, and this is Rory Drybear.
Hello.
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 Welcome to Smite Pro League. We are happy to have you here. This game is Dignitas versus Cognitive Smite North America. Cog, a team that is purely intact, struggled a little bit in the LAN, but still considered probably the #1 team in an online setting in North America. Dignitas trying to rebuild their roster. The boys almost didn't make this one, got hit by lightning. Hopefully their internet connectivity stays on. But for more on the game, let's turn to Drybear.
Hi.
Hey, buddy.
Welcome, guys. This is going to be Cognitive Prime up against Dignitas. Of course, important to identify the difference between Cognitive Prime and Cognitive Red. Of course, Cognitive Prime, you know, their first team, they picked up Cognitive Red as a backup, but now Cog Red is now just dominating the scene. So this is kind of a chance for Dignitas to come out and say, hey, we still have a team, we still have a strong play, and we're still going to be able to contest against these stronger teams here. Cog Prime, of course, performed very well yesterday. Barracuda, the top KDA currently, as far as, you know, how he's playing. I mean, Anister, though, also very high, 10.5 on him, and pretty much everyone on the side of Cog Prime performing very, very well. The question here is, and personally I think a lot of people out there, especially if you're a fantasy fan, is Gnaw. So can Gnaw make up for his performance yesterday? Because he ran that game yesterday, 0-6-3 was his score, and he's 0.3 KDA so far. And so waiting for Gnaw to kind of activate. Now, of course, if you don't have a lot of experience in the competitive scene, you don't have a lot of experience with the teammates you currently have, and you're going up against a very strong team, it's tough to make the performance. But again, will he pick a safer character? Because he ran Isis yesterday, and that's not the easiest character to play if you're not positioning yourself properly.
No, but it is Gnaw's preferred mid outside of Vulcan, which is his #1 pick there. So we'll see if that gets banned out by Dignitas. I'm sorry, not by Dignitas, of course, but by Cognitive as well. But I have the feeling that MLC Stealth feels pretty good about this matchup. Gnaw, a newcomer to the scene, MLC Stealth, a veteran, and also one of the best performing mids in the game versus someone pretty untested. So we'll see if Gnaw is going to be able to perform here. I believe he did get -2 fantasy points yesterday.
-2 fantasy points. It's +3 for a kill, -1 for a death, and I believe +1 for an assist. So 0-6-3 puts you at -6, plus the GPM would be, plus the GPM and assist would be +4, and so you're at a -2, unfortunately enough. So that would be the lineup for Gnaw, but we're hopping into a match here to see how things are going to go. So we're in picks bans here. Dignitas on the left. They have first pick, first ban this time around. Across the way on the right side, we do have Cognitive Prime to see how they can fare for today. Giannis and Ram are going to be Ra are going to be banned out here, and then they got rid of Vulcan.
No Vulcan, no Circuit, no Giannis, no Ra. Everybody off the board there. The bans already finished here for Team Dignitas and Cog Prime. First pick going the way of Dignitas, notably Zhonghui, Mercury, Loki, all available. And it will be the ZK going the way of the boys, this time in blue. On the side of Cognitive Prime, Freya available for Andy, likely to be picked up, you'd expect, in these first 3 picks. They'll probably pick up a Geb for Jeff Hindlet as well as a high priority pick. And, you know, there's some other stuff floating around out there. There's Aphrodite, there's an Apollo, there's all kinds of good stuff in the pickup. We'll see what they do elect to go with.
I know the Barracuda plays very well. Of course, he has a very high KDA so far. Mercury, as well as Freya, all both available. We know that Thor's available. It's going to be Mercury this time around, so it looks like Anister are going to run that one in the jungle there.
Physical
Apollo,
damage, pretty much good. They're pretty much set.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you really need. Plus, they are very, very mobile and both great split pushers. Across the way, they're going to pick up Geb, one of the strongest, if not the strongest support in the entire game, and they're going to look to pick up someone else here. They don't have to pick up a Hunter unless they really want to get something before the next banning phase. We'll see what they decide to go with.
Well, the Ra ban, to me, indicates that they're looking for a very favorable matchup in the solo lane for Xing. You may see the ZK go mid lane here, as we know Gnaw's God pool not that large, which means that you may be looking for more of that carry style in the solo lane for Xing. We'll see what they like to do with it, but that Ra ban may tip their hat a little bit as to what they're thinking.
Maybe go for a jungle pick here, possibly. Looks like it's going to be Nemesis on the board and locked with Geb and Zhonghui, the starting lineup here for Team Dignitas. Across the way, Cognitive Prime has a selection. I mean, Thena's definitely there, but Jeff Hindlet's got some God pull there.
He can play Bacchus.
Go for Bacchus. He can definitely even play Amir. Sobek, the highest GPM per God in the game, or the SPL so far. Sobek doing a great job so far statistically. So one more selection for Cog Prime. If they really want to Thena, they got to get her now because she will be banned out most likely. That really makes things interesting for the rest of the picking stage.
Well, what else would they pick here? They could pick a mid laner or a solo laner here, but I don't think they want to use their solo laner just yet, as they want to keep Dig guessing as to what they're going to do with that Zhonghui. So they're going to go ahead, and this makes a lot of sense here to go ahead and pick up the dragon for the one and only MLC Stealth. This is one of his signature gods in Wong.
I love this character. Here's the thing. They hated this character in the beginning, and I just love how simple he is, but also how powerful he can be, because you look at the character and, like, from a low level, he's not really that challenging, but he has a pretty big ceiling the way you can implement him. I mean, the slows plus the ultimate, landing ultimates effectively makes or breaks an Wong in how well he can effectively be utilized, but he does have a long distance on the ultimate and definitely a lot of synergy with the whole kit overall. So we'll see. I mean, MLC Stealth going into the NA Pro League kickoff LAN, his best character by far was Wong with an 8.04 KDA, and that was very, very notable here. It looks like across the way, Aphrodite's being banned away. Nothing too surprising there. Coming right back over to Cognitive Prime. They're going to pick up Bacchus. That Hindla Bacchus is going to be a great combo for them.
It could still be a Guan Yu in some crazy world, but no, it will be the
Guan Yu still in the game?
The man of drunkenness and power. Guan Yu's still in the game, and Guan Yu Ultimate still the hardest hitting ultimate in the entire game. So Guan Yu better, I think, than people give him credit for.
He has help from a horse. It doesn't count.
That's true. His horse is amazing. However, the final picks from Team Dignitas coming through. Agni with his impressive forearms across the screen there, and Uller going to be the hunter for Zatman. This will be the second game with Uller that he is picking into. Cognitive with their final pick, it's going to be their solo laner, one would expect, unless they put Mercury there. However unlikely that is. Expectation here, they're going to be going up against that Zhang
Yeah. Yes.
And they're going to take one of Omega's signature gods here in Vamana.
Yes. I love Omega on Vamana because what he does is he's a sleeper cell. He just waits for 15 to 20 minutes and smacks things with his bat, and then after that,
so different from all other solo laners.
It is actually, because he's more of a carry than other warriors.
Yeah, that's true.
In the way that he can scale very, very effectively. Whereas other, warriors, put Tyr there, you put Sun Wukong there, you put, different warriors there. They don't scale the way Vamana does. So Vamana come out, pops ultimate, pops sprint, and he just smashes that umbrella or the bat, and it really does a lot of damage there and is able to scale. I mean, we saw, the same thing that happened, before where solo laners playing Vamana is that they have no recorded stats up until the halfway point, and then they go 8-0 and 4. It's just because they have so much damage output. Now, they also have, of course, Wong scales very effectively as well. Apollo and Mercury, the physical damage is going to be huge here. The question is, what does Dignitas do to counter it? Now, they have Retribution on the side of Nemesis. They have the Geb shield, which will keep them alive. Agni's pretty mobile, but Ul and Zhang Kui may have trouble with the sprinting Vamana and the Mercury grab. So they certainly have the distance to grab them.
It's, I don't know. I don't know about this Vamana pick, how effective it can be realistically. I mean, you have Nemesis, double dash, very mobile, very hard for Vamana to stick to her. Zhang Kui, very tanky. Uller with the leap plus a run speed stim. Agni with the dash and Geb with the rollout all make it difficult for Vamana to appeal to them if he goes for that Fatalis style of play where he needs to get consecutive in-hands. Now, granted, the sprint plus a creeping curse or a sprint plus a slow out of his umbrella rank should be able to achieve that, but he's going to have a hard time picking up Nemesis, I think, for sure. Agni should be pretty difficult for him as well, as will be Uller and Geb. So he's not going to have great targets, but Vamana still brings lots of damage, even if not kill potential, with that style of build.
Sure. Well, we'll see what they can do with it getting into the game. I mean, I think Ul is definitely going to be a target that is, you wait for that jump to go off, and then they jump right into it. But let's look at the lineup here, see what they actually look like. You got Shing on the left side. They somehow found a way to put a jersey on him during the NA Pro League kickoff lane, even though he was technically still snipe at that point. We got Na hanging out there in his black shirt. Same thing goes for Derek here on the right side. Big old lovable Lass in the mid, and of course, Zatman there. But look at the KDA. You can see 1.8 there for Lass, 0.3 for Na, 0.9 for Shing. And really the only person that has activated so far in the way of Team Dignitas is Zatman, 3-1-2 on the 4.0 KDA. The GPM's rather low for Na specifically. Of course, ended that first game 0-6-3. So this is kind of a redemption game for Dig.
Yeah, it is. But you look at Zatman's GPM, they're pretty low. 413 under Shing and under Lassus, even with his superior kills. Taking a look over at Cognitive Prime. Ooh. Here they are, Andenster in the mid lane there as the captain with a 10.5 KDA. And you're looking at Barracuda in his first game 8-0-8, which 12. I guess it's infinite basically. Yeah. So it's kills plus half of his assists divided by
0.
1. So he has the 12 KDA, but right now he is has infinite KDA as Barracuda. And Jeff, the Sex Hindla here, as he is known to most of the community, with his 4.5 KDA and 520 GPM support play in the last game, doing very well for himself as well. Omega in the solo lane and MLC Stealth. You may know him from YouTube, but now you know him from Smite in the mid lane. Omega with his signature hoodie on as well.
Well, of course, I mean, look at the lineup for the GPM overall. I mean, you could see that Andenster rocking the charts with over 580 GPM. That's going to be the highest in the full lineup we've seen so far. And he's playing Mercury, and that's not a character you want to see on a person that runs a lot of
If you have 500 GPM on Mercury and you lose that game, It is
rough.
very unlikely.
And it does a lot. I mean, you don't have the crit damage from Vamana. You have the crit damage from Mercury. If Vamana goes for the rage, of course. I mean, generally, Omega does like to do that.
Sure,
but, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, challenge goes out to Dig to figure out what they're going to do for the early game because they really need to shut down this late game stage. I mean, Zhong, Agni, Nemesis, Ull, your damage dealers inside of Dig, but those don't really stack up to Alguang, Apollo, Vamana, Mercury as far as the scaling potential.
Not even close.
But they have more of a stand-in team fight. They're able to kind of stick together and fight. If they get the initiation, they're going to be able to do a lot better than Cognitive Prime. So challenge goes out to Dignitas to see if they can start the fight right and start it at the right time to get those objectives start scaling out of control, because if they let Cognitive Prime dictate the pace of this game, I don't see them winning.
Yeah, they'll need like about a 10,000 gold lead by about 25 to 27 minutes, give or take, or they're going to have a very, very hard time winning this game. So they need that 4,000 or 5,000 gold lead moving into the 20-minute period, and then to expand upon that moving into the later stages of the game, so that the Agni on Gnaw is going to be effective at winning team fights for the team. If they don't have that, and Xing is underfarmed, or Zapman's underfarmed, you're going to see it be very difficult for Dignitas to stand toe-to-toe with the rest of COG and their superior scaling in these fights, and Vamana plus Mercury is a ticking time bomb.
Yes, it is. And one thing to keep in mind is Xing is primarily a jungle player for the history of his Smite play. He did play a little bit of solo previously, but now he played jungle for probably about 8 to 9 months straight, and now is hopping into a solo role. So we'll see how we can do as we hop into game here. And one thing to keep in mind as well is Na's major mistakes yesterday was actually just getting caught out too much. And Agni has a dash plus a stun, so a little easier for him to get out of fights, especially with that Swagni scam. Let's go ahead and introduce our teams and who's going where and what they're playing as we see Cognitive Prime running up the left side of the map. Team Dignitas, the bottom side map, the green grass defenders of the Titans of Order. We've got Xing on Zhongquei in the solo lane, Na on Agni, Lassus on Nemesis, Zapman playing Ull, and Dare to Care on Geb.
On the other side, their opponents, the reigning champions of online play in North America, it's Cognitive Gaming Prime. They are the red team wearing the red chunks at the top side of the minimap and the right side of your spectator UI on the chaos side of the map. They are Barracuda and Jeff Hinla combining for the dual lane, Apollo and Bacchus. Andy in the jungle as Mercury. Also the captain, Omegatron, will be in the solo lane as Vamana, and the mid lane is MLC Stealth on the Dragon.
Look at that animation so far. We can see Na actually going for the multi-potion start in the mid lane, as we did see Jerby start last game. And it worked too well for Jerby, of course, but he did buy the magical pot, and then, didn't really do anything with it going forward. So we'll see what he can do with it this time around on Agni. Agni versus Ao Guang is a pretty passive matchup. Agni doesn't really activate until level 5, and Ao Guang's only weak point is before Tornadoes hits level 2. So at that point, you have to stop Ao Guang by level 2, or you don't really do anything because he can sit his tower and do whatever he wants.
Yeah, level 3 is a big level for Ao Guang.
It is.
You have your massive slow on top of your absurdly damaging dot that is persistent and ground target based. So. And
if you touch it for a second, you take a bunch of damage. So that's where he's at. But Path of Flame's coming out for Nog and clear out the wave here. Pretty effective clear. And that's the big thing about the Ao Guang Agni matchup is can't really stop it. Invasion on the left side though, looking for Hinla, dropping low, jumping away with Glory Bound. There goes damage. Barracuda's jumping in, looking for some shots on Zapman. Now turning Dare to Care. Not a whole lot of focus there on who they wanted. Blue buffs will go to each perspective side, but Zapman takes a lot of harassment on the way. So does Dare to Care. Wow, Barracuda.
Yeah, Barracuda, quite the player, and it's going to be interesting to see how this more aggressive Dignitas duo lane goes up against such a passive style of farming hunter as Barracuda, and the Uller likes to play aggressive here, so we'll see exactly what they're able to accomplish.
Harassment from Zapman with that hail of arrows right side. We do see a dash in. Enister going to grab up Lassus. There goes the damage. Dashing away with Swift Vengeance, and he will get away from that one, but does leave some movement available here for Enister. Maybe going down to steal the back camp or harass Na. Na using a little bit of his intuition and communication. Actually warded up. I like this. He warded the rotation from the solo lane, and that was Na's major weakness yesterday. Last game is awareness and ability to position himself properly. So those are the two things. If he picks it up and it's not picking up the movement speed buff, will Dig recognize it in time?
Oh boy. This is one of the things that makes COD such a strong team. Here's MLC Stealth. He's going to throw Tornadoes likely over the wall. No, he's actually going to block the rotation. There's those Tornadoes coming through, and that is a stolen orange buff. Easy peasy for Andenster. And Dignitas just got caught with their pants down on that one.
They did, and you saw rotation coming out, like you were mentioning. Jeff Hinla actually blocking the rotation from the long lane. Beautiful coordinated play there. The damage buff is going to be their backup pickup there for Lass and Na. Na going back to the mid lane here as we see some heavy push from Stealth and Anitzer. About a minute left before the mid camps respawn, waiting for those to come back up and see if Dig can grab those up again. We do have a stronger late game team on the side of Cognitive Prime, so Dig really has to do something with this early and mid game transition. Currently, no major items bought as no one has really gone back to the base yet, but overall, overall, it's a slight gold lead for Prime.
So, I mean, yeah, that goes on the back of that orange camp. And let's talk about the early opening gambit here from Dignitas. They, Lassus helps at the right side XP camp, skips red, goes to blue, gets that for a solo laner, then goes to lane. Then gets beat to orange buff. That's taken away from him. Doesn't have the experience of red. Picks it up, but it has to go to Gnaw so he can hold parity versus MLC Stealth, who is a level ahead already. Which means that Lassus is now forced to stand in his current position, which is soaking XP in the mid and looking to put some pressure on MLC Stealth. He finds level 5, and he's just still going to sit here and try to help Gnaw get back into this lane. But as you mentioned, Al Guang, level 2 tornadoes, pretty much all she wrote in terms of his need to be aggressive in the mid lane.
Oh man, it's just an easy 1-2. That's all it is. But you know, early on, we'll see what they can do with it. Right side camp is gonna be respawning here. Cognitive probably looks like they want to take it. It has respawned now. Looks like they're going back to contest the left camp as they do see there's no rotation over there. Last coming through. Good ultimate from Jeff Hinla. Indister looking for a grab on Last. Gonna find Last is trapped here. Can't go anywhere. The ultimate comes out as a last ditch effort, but he is down. The left camp was missed. Oh, dash on a Gnaw. Oh, Algong ultimate gonna come through there. The punch comes out and Gnaw goes down too. It's a 2-0. First and second blood. It looks like they're gonna get the right camp as well. Just not in the right place.
He wasn't, and also a pretty clever little play there by Jeff Hinla to throw out the Intoxicate before those minions spawned. He was trying to catch it as the mid camp came in as well, but that Intoxicate coming out onto the Nemesis made it just very hard for her to position those dashes out, and as of such, the rotation from Anister is in time. They get the chain CC onto that Nemesis, and down she will go, and that is even further. Lassus is falling behind now, Anister on the superior damaging style of jungler.
101 on Stealth and Anister, the longest sentence that has never really been enjoyed to be heard by an enemy team. I'll say that in a little more plain English. You don't want to feed Anister in Stealth. I mean, they've got so much golden experience now. Level 8 right now, which is going to be the highest level in the game by far. 2 levels ahead of Gnaw, and I might even be 2.5 at this point. So Gnaw falling behind yet again here. 0-1 in 0. He's going to be a little bit behind Last.
Gnaw at 540 XP, Stealth sitting at 750 XP a minute.
Oh man, that is huge. Massive disparity. Huge, that's right. Clearing out the wave though, come back to lane and try and clear this out. Still level 6 after the next wave that gets cleared out, so definitely a big disparity there. Stealth about to level 9, which means he should be able to max out his tornadoes if he's skipping that point at 8. We'll see what he decided to go with based on the damage put out here. Last can come in the lane and kind of help out. Rotation from Anister. Does he have a grab looking for Lassus possibly? Maybe even going for Gnaw. Not sure why he didn't go there. I mean, that was a full wave.
Yeah, full wave gone here. Let's check in with the soul lane. Haven't been here much at all. Vamana and Xing on Zhang Kui. You're going back and forth. Omega with the slight advantage here as he's apparently been able to shove the tower into Xing's side a couple times here and pull a bit ahead in golden experience. They did have a little bit of an earlier scrum where both the ultimates were used, but no harm, no foul. Both of them perfectly happy to continue farming up, but you can't feel good about farm war of the soul lane when one of the characters is so much more aggressively scaling.
Warded the movement speed buff, and now they're over here. They're starting the Gold Fury because they had the vision of Team Dignitas. They know that they just went home. Derricar's coming back over. He's got to do something with this. He doesn't have Tier 3 Hand of the Gods, though. Jumping back in. Conroy gets the Gold Fury, knocking him up, though. Good ultimate from MLC Stealth. Going to get right on top of Derricar. Gnaw gets in on it, but it's a free Gold Fury. This is the power of wards and communication, ladies and gentlemen. They ward the back movement speed buff. Now, this will go to last, but they say, you know what? We're going to see if we can take movement speed.
I'll trade that for 15
Oh, wait.
gold.
No one's here? Let's do Gold Fury.
Right, yeah. Absolutely right. Smart stuff there. And also maybe one of the more underrated pieces of Ao Kuang's kit there, the knock-up on that Spirit's Tempest, keeping old Dare to Care there on the Geb out of range for his Hand of the Gods as he was airborne as that did come through. A clever play by MLC Stealth, what we would expect from the very, very tenured mid laner of Cognitive Gaming.
Oh, he's doing so well right now, and realistically, you know, pressure's on for Dignitas to keep up with this pace. With the Gold Fury down there, 2,500 gold in deficit up against Cognitive Prime. Anister looking for last, but Lifelock comes out, actually decides to go for Dare to Care instead. Purification Speed's coming out, the shield is there, the Squall comes out, the tornado is ticking. Dare to Care goes down there, now looking for Lassus. Oh, Flame Wave from Gnaw, gonna try to push this up a little bit back into the jungle and keep the front line stable, but the rotation from Xing might keep it a little bit, actually balance it out a bit here. Rotation from Gnaw, there goes the damage. Omega tried to steal, it looks like he didn't get it though. Now going back to the mid lane.
Wants to fight Xing here. Gonna get the knockup, should find the slow as well as Jeff Handler's gonna rotate in. Belly Flop available, but not going to use it. Red buff also up on the side of Dignitas here, but let's check in with the duo lane where Barracuda has an advantage over Zatman here and is gonna start. This is a very, very difficult positioning for Zatman to be in. He's doing a nice job of dodging those in-hands though, but we'll start, and we'll actually continue taking the harassment from the archers and Barracuda.
We see some damage there on the damage buff. Gonna go and put some damage onto Na's damage pool. From the right side, we do see Xing going up against Omega. Omega is winning this lane pretty effectively, using that umbrella and clear the whole wave, and then smacking it with a bat, and that's all she wrote. Left side, Zatman getting harassed very heavily, actually forced to jump back towards his tower. I imagine he'd be going home here. Barracuda keeping the pressure up. Looks like 3 players are heading home. Oh, they see Lassus in the jungle. I love their ward coverage. They have so much coverage of the map that Lassus is not even safe in his own jungle. He has to run back and wait for an opportunity to head on home. Zatman's going to head on home here. What will he buy? Looks like he's going to finish tier 2 of his boots. Combat boots complete now. Now looking for the Warrior Tabi to finish off, but Barracuda is unrelenting.
Yeah, Barracuda is putting a lot of pressure on this lane and freezing basically both the players over here. Lassus is going to rotate, but with just the Geb, I doubt they're going to be able to do too much for Barracuda. His ultimate is available, so he'll be able to get out of here easy peasy, and they can't overcommit to this because Jeff Hindla is in position. It seems like he's just always there.
Looking at the damage numbers. Oh, Lassus getting jumped on the left side, getting jumped out. There goes a kill. Derek here jumping low as well, looking for Zatman, but the single target damage from Cog Prime. And this is what happens when you focus one person. The amount of effectiveness you gain and the difference between focusing multiple people and spreading your damage or focusing on one person is right then and there. Lassus walks in for half a second and gets bursted to death. Looking for Zatman, has a glory bound available, but drops in place. Oh, that was a little bit of animation error there. Looks like he's back into the tower here. Now looking for the blue buff. The Gold Fury's not back up yet, but it's a free buff coming out. It's going to go to Hindla to keep that chug going and keeping him drunk and facilitating his alcoholism. But now they're going to go back up in the lane and keep things going.
Yeah, and when you look at what Cognitive's doing here around the map, just their map control so strong, able to rotate as 3 and 4 around the jungle and keep Dignitas from finding any opportunities to really get a hold of farm.
Farm is what they need, and farm is what they don't have. MLC Stealth is clearing away everything in the jungle. Rotating over to the right side here, Omega is stacking up, but here's a problem. They got a sleeper with Omega. He's going Heartseeker after Warrior Tabi.
Yeah, they got to deal with that.
Rage. He's got to be stopped, but what can they do? They can barely hold on to mid and left. Things are looking grim.
You know, it seems like it's almost like a situation where that Dignitas used to have this Achilles heel, right, is what a lot of teams felt in Anatoly, that they could abuse the solo lane and get ahead there. And as, you know, they're waiting maybe for these players to ramp up or they're trying to get everybody working together, it feels like mid lane is that deficient point now where teams are saying, look, let's just pile onto Na, force him to make tough choices, and we'll just go ahead and abuse that, and we'll keep him super far down. And while Dignitas is trying to find where he fits in this second game, and he's doing better, only 0-1 at this point with an assist to his credit, and the team only with the 1 kill, so he was involved in that single kill, it still seems like that, you know, he's got 2 levels behind MLC Stealth still at this point.
Right. Well, the issue is as well, I mean, look across the way. I mean, you know, Zatman's doing the best he can to clear this wave out, but you know, no matter what they do, they can't do anything about it. And that's the problem for Na. I mean, if you have this disparity of games played per character, right, where you play a ton of Vulcan and then everything else is kind of the same, you look at a team like Hunter Prime that does their research, they prepare properly, and they say, you know what, let's just ban Vulcan. Vulcan isn't the best mage in the game, and it's certainly not the character we want to deal with the least, but if we stop Na from playing it, then we can deal with all those characters a little bit easier. Anderson taking the movement speed buff, going to get ulted here by Lassus, forcing him away, priming the ultimate, looking to go forward, pops to get away, but dies to the flame wave, and they actually pass the combustion. Jeff Linda forced away. This is a big opportunity for Dignitas. They need to force this envelope. Can they go for it? Looking for the good split there, slowing down Stealth. There's the ultimate come out from Xing. Good AoE damage coming here. They need this so desperately. They can't let these kills go, or maybe just go for the Gold Fury. But here comes Barracuda from behind. Can he defend?
I mean, they're going to start Gold Fury, and Barracuda should just go take this tier 1 tower. Take that trade.
Hog.
Yeah, go ahead and do it. Well, no, he's actually going to look for the disruption here. They're going to try to fight this out now. Crashing in is Barracuda, trying to put in the damage that he can. Here is the Gold Fury. Spear is going to come through, doing tremendous amounts of damage. MLC Stealth picks up Lassus. It will go the way of Dignitas with the Gold Fury here, but can they capitalize on this fight? Stealth so low. They'll go Barracuda as well. The Spirit Step is just not enough as Omegatron kills Xing, and now he's going to go deep and find yet another kill onto Zatman. So a couple kills getting picked back up on the back end of that by Cog. But at what cost? They give up the Dignitas Gold Fury, and they only net 1 kill on the back of that.
If they can kill this mid tower, it will be worth it here for Cog Prime.
True.
And, you know, honestly, that's the one difference between Barracuda and Zatman, right? Right at the end of that fight, they got the Gold Fury. It was the call was get out, get out, get out. Zatman turned around and tried to kill Stealth. his greed is what kind of made that fight difficult, right? Because Shing turned around to try and support Zatman, but at the same time, there was a big rotation from Omega, and they didn't expect that rotation to become that fast, and so all of a sudden, stealth baiting out the Zatman greed means they get 2 kills in the back end of the Gold Fury. They get the Gold Fury.
It's just that Zatman hey ladies attitude.
It's exactly what it is.
There's no saluting. He needs to be
is.
saluting here, and yeah, as that call came through, you could tell the team just kind of broke up. Zatman looking to make the play there, but unable to get bailed out this time.
That's rough. And right now, looking at the numbers with the mid tower going down, it was realistically only about a 400 net gain for Dignitas, which is not really valuable considering who they lost at the tail end of that fight, losing Zatman, which is going to be their main farmer and their main damage dealer for a single target. Zatman forced away on the left side. Barracuda is not letting up. He's getting so aggressive in this lane. Now we see 4 players from Cognitive Prime grouping up on the blue buff. They're going to steal this away yet again and then pressure the tier 1 tower, I would imagine. The Hog comes out and Drunk Bacchus takes it away again. Oh, dashing the wall, interrupting the dash, actually popping the sprint and getting away. That was a beautiful play by Zatman.
Shing in some trouble on the right side. The ultimate active. Omega chasing him down. Both of their sprints active. But Omega will have a sprint a bit longer and has some range spells to pick it up. And that is an easy kill for Omega, just chasing down the large man.
It's a thing of nightmares to see a sprinting baby coming after you. Last is in the backside, surrounded by himself. He's going to grab up here. Last need to get out. Spirit Step is going to come through. It's going to hit no one. Tornado coming out. Andancer dropping low. Nice shot there from Zatman. Takes out Andancer. Last is going over the blue buff. He's coming back after. Here's the thing. He actually stunned Barracuda in mid-dash and then sniped Andancer with the bladed arrow after we just verbally pooped on him so hard.
The kid's got moves. There's no question.
God.
Yeah, Zatman, it definitely, you know, it's easy to criticize Zatman because he was at the top for so long.
That's right.
And so when you see other players performing very well, it's easy to say, has Zatman slipped and ask that question. But really, if we were talking about a team that had just formed, I mean, Dignitas is very similar to Cloud9 over in the north in the European scene. So, you know, had Dignitas won that first game in a come from behind victory, we'd be having a different conversation about them. Like, they look good, you know, they got lucky there, but they are 1-0. Can they make it 2-0? Cloud9 was able to do it. Can Dignitas find their first win here? They're gonna have to dig out of a hole though. 3,000 gold, 5,000 experience. Nothing too big just yet, but it will start being felt a little bit later. And as we mentioned, they need that advantage going into this stage of the game. They should be looking to be about 5K ahead at 15 minutes and looking to build that into about 10K about a 25-minute mark. And they're going to have some trouble here as they're not going to scale as aggressively as the boys in Cog.
That's right. They have to be very careful about that transition into late game as Andancer and Omega start to scale out of control. Barracuda still standing strong here, dashing forward, going to find Dare knocked up. Actually hit by the Geb ultimate as well. Popping sprint, looking for surroundment. You know he has support coming, so he's trying to force this into a full engagement. Omega from behind, going to find Last in the jungle, dashing away with Swift Vengeance there, using the slice and dice to clear out the movement speed buff. Can't secure it though. Too much pressure coming out. Good bomb from Knopf, forcing Andancer to low HP. We know the Andancer can't commit to the fight now. He's too low on the health point value. Gold Fury's going to be spawning shortly here in just about 75 seconds or so. Looking for the movement speed buff. Last is going to find it. 3 players from Cog Prime go back to the mid lane to start pushing this up as well. The left tower is standing tall and Zatman is farming hard. But the question is, will this very small 3,000 gold deficit on Dignitas make a big difference? And I think it will. I mean, you look at it, the tier 2, the second item for Last is not done. Dare is just now starting his sovereignty. We see Bancroft's Talon just now being finished here for Gnaw, whereas across the way Stealth already has his Warlock Sash. It seems like a small amount, but it's enough to get those early items faster, and that scales you so much more aggressively.
Yeah, fair enough. And Omega and Andy and Barracuda all getting pretty close to where they want to be, but I want to take a moment here and talk about the Light Blade on Barracuda. So he's going to be building into that execution, no big deal there. Hidden Dagger coming out for Andy, likely to turn into the Deathbringer right away. And then you're going to have the Height of the Urchin almost finish here in Omega, plus this Warlock Sash on MLC Stealth. And this is all very dangerous because the point I'm going to make here is that they are going to be tankier with Omega in the front line, plus having more damage with the Warlock Sash. MLC Stealth and Omega no longer targets you can try to pick off with their damage-oriented builds. They're both going to be very, very tanky. Not that Vamana's an easy target anyway, but with the Heartseeker, they had a shot. Now, that door is closing.
Gold Fury's back up though, Bart. They're trying to group up here to see if they can't take the Gold Fury away. You're exactly right. With that Urchin completing shortly on Omega, it turns him into a domino. And here's the problem. It is just terrifying to see a giant baby sprinter coming after you because you can't escape him. The movement speed's too much. Bomb coming out from Nah, trying to find Inister, not going to get it. Good, actually, Umbrella Rain coming out there from Omega, slowing up her way. Last is going to get stunned out. Good stun from Nah as well. Shockwave, major look on Dare. They're splitting up pretty effectively. Barracuda is unfazed by his teammates' plight and is pushing up the left lane, keeping that split push going. Rotation from Dig, going to keep the pressure alive in this small zone area. Starting the blue buff, Barracuda's going to find it. Inister's priming the ultimate, looking for initiation on someone. Dare Care's isolated, so is Shing though. They're going opposite directions here. Will they go for initiation? They're going to find Zatman. They're going to find the stun. They're going to hit the slow there. There goes the Geb shield to get him out safely. Looks like that will be the passport he needed to go on home, but he turns right back around.
But now here is Stealth, and that's what I think is very tricky, fighting in this area here, kind of in that choke, in between the Tier 1 and Tier 2, trying to defend out of there on your blue buff. As the Order side team, that blue team is very, very difficult when you have those large area denial style characters like Ao Guang.
Dare to Care in the jungle. Two Tier 3 Hand of the Gods on the game right now. Jeff Hinla and Dare to Care both holding that down. Tier 2 on Lassus, though, did start the game with that one. Looks like MLC South has been looking for his Book of Thoth here as his next item, or possibly the, no, it's Book of Thoth. It's Ao Guang. I don't even know what my brain is even doing right now. Slow on a Megatron in the jungle as the belly flop going to hit nobody. Jeff Hinla doing his best Shing impression there. Nah getting knocked up, a lot of damage on top. He's dashing away. Going to survive the time being, but he's got to go home now to help his team out. Dare to Care's initiation dropping low. Good Geb shield. Shing forcing forward. Got the ultimate. Good AoE, but no follow-up here. Can he actually get anything done? They got to back off.
This is where you would love to have an Apollo to follow up that initiation there. They just don't have that ability to close a distance long range and find that CC. Dare to Care has to wait for the rollout, and Nah was too low at that point to dash in and try to find those range stuns to convert anything off of that very, very nicely placed ultimate from Shing. But Shing sitting at level 15 is starting to fall behind the pace of the game. Omega 18, mid laner for Cog 17 on Stealth, and Barracuda at 16. So you really want your solo laner to be on parity at least with the top level in the game.
That was a very Shadow Q-esque reaction from Dare to Care there. The second Nah got initiated on, Dare to Care says, nope, ult, shockwave, shield on Nah, get you out of there, buddy. And he gets him out, and they did a very safe disengage. This is what I like to see from Dignitas. And then one of the reasons why they can be scrutinized is that they tend to be overly aggressive and commit to fights a little bit too long. And right there, that was textbook disengage from Team Dignitas, and I'd like to see more of it. As soon as the fight went poorly, they pulled back. They'd lost nothing, no towers, no kills. Now they're going for Gold Free because they had the opportunity to do so. The damage might be enough. They're getting low. Jeff Hinla comes on in. Kenny Hinla, the hit. Dignitas will get it, but a good ultimate. A split there coming out. Almost going to hit two. Nah gets vaporized. Dare to Care gets gone. There goes the hit from MLC Stealth. Shing's got nowhere to go. He's running in circles here. Lassus by himself on the left side. They got the Gold Fury, but it was too small of a window to get it, and they suffered for it.
And this is not even an at-what-cost situation. The cost is likely the game here. Fire Giant going to go down in favor of Cognitive. They're going to take the rest of the probably the mid lane and right side lane towers, plus probably a Phoenix on the back of this here. And, you know, Dignitas, they were just a little bit too clumped as that came in. You know, right as Jeff Hinla initiated, knocked up 3. They clumped up around those players trying to protect them. But that is when the Spirit's Tempest came through, and that was really all she wrote. Your support basically killed, and Nah taken away and right off the table by, I mean, he was erased there. And then, you know, Barracuda didn't really have an opportunity to enter that fight. And Book of Thoth finished on Stealth now. He's going for the... well, he's on track now for the theoretical maximum damage build with the Warlock Sash into Book of Thoth now. Will he pick up the Doom Orb and really just go for that triple stack trifecta?
That's the question.
Unlikely. Almost no chance, but it would be great to see.
Just because. I like to collect stacks. That's my thing.
That's right.
Omega on the right side, going to be back in home after taking the blue buff away. Poor Shingy Poo. He's not going to get his buff from the jungle. Deathbringer is now completed for Aninster as he walks out of base with his head held high. We do see Omega going to be going for a Witchblade after the Height of the Urchin just to get that slow on characters like Uul, Nemesis together. I mean, slowing that attack speed is going to be huge, and all of a sudden they're starting to build more targeted items, keeping their damage up, keeping their defensive high, and utility to counter the effectiveness of the enemy team. I mean, Cognitive Prime is looking like the old days.
Well, those major looks now from Mercury go from being like, damn, that's annoying, to I have to go back to base.
Yep.
Because he's going to start critting you for 600, 700, 800 damage as his build continues to progress. Right now, probably going to be throwing out about 450s with that Deathbringer. And, you know, 450 damage coming out onto a Zatman at this point in the game who's sitting on a robust amount of health at 1850, right? I mean, that's a good chunk of his HP, so he's going to be in some dire straits. You know, that's almost 25% of his HP there, a little bit under that. So it's a tough life for Zatman right now, and really any of the other characters sitting around that mark, checking in on Agni, I'm sorry, at just under 1600. So over 25% of his health if that Major Look crits.
We're going to see 12-5 here, 21 minutes and 30 seconds. If you're a Dig fan, give it up in chat, give it up at home, and give it up in wherever it is you're watching the Smite Pro League right now, because they need your support. They're falling behind in gold and experience, and their mid-tier 2 tower is gone. They only have one tower, outside tower remaining currently, and it looks like it's going to be falling shortly as Omega comes from behind to smack it on up here. And they're going to be pushing up towards the Phoenixes as well, and it's crossing over 22-minute mark. The Fire Giant buff is standing strong. It's going to last another 2 minutes and 45 seconds or so. They got plenty of time to utilize this buff, and Dig has to turtle hard.
That's right, yeah. The gold at this point is all funny money. Everyone in COG has a lot of gold in hand as this push is continuing. They're taking a lot of structures. It just comes up to Dignitas to pick their spot here. Can they come together and show us what they got? Dare with a nice initiation onto 3 there, but Omega in the backline is going to be a lot of trouble. Not trying to rain in fire where he can before stay pretty far out of his fight. Spear Stem is coming through, not going to find any damage. Zatman getting low, but able to disengage for now. Barracuda still trying to go in. He's going to go ahead and use his ultimate, but Zatman already back in base. Barracuda going to peek it out anyway. Now going to try to go in on a Nog. Going to take a lot of damage. Stunt out nicely there is the rest of COG, and Dignitas does a nice job holding their base, at least for now.
Omega backing away, getting a good zone control there. You notice he has his ultimate available coming up shortly to be able to do it, but a good team fight coming out there from Cognitive Prime. Shin going to be the only target to fall down there, but now they have full map control. That right side Phoenix is down. They're looking to pressure even more. Oh, they're coming back in. They lure Dig out of the base. Can they go for it? Omega's going to push the envelope here. There's the dash from Nod, knocking from Dare to stop the initiation.
That was well
and then
done.
COG is more than happy to back off. I love their discipline here. They say, I'm going to look for a poke. Can I find a pick? I can't get it. And they're not going to be able to do anything with it. So they're just going to look for it, not find it, back off, come back, look for it, not find it, back off, go on home, heal up, and buy some items. And that gives them the map control, spreads out the area, and now all of a sudden they're going to be pushing it here. It looks like he... So Omega has got Fatalis before the Witchblade, and going to buy another Ancient Blade, which would be the Witchblade, I would imagine, on top of the Greater Sprint. So now, instead of doing Witchblade Fatalis, which I expected him to do, given the way the game is going now, he's going for more damage and more attack speed with the Fatalis, plus the Sprint, which means he's going to have that non-basic attack penalty almost indefinitely, as long as he's landing attacks, plus the sprint, and now he's going to go straight for the Witchblade, like previously mentioned. It's an amazing build.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just that fight went well, and he doesn't have any deaths to his name, so he doesn't need to build defensive just yet. Height of the Urchin done, but over on Dignitas, bright light here. Height of the Urchin's finished on both Xing and Last is a little bit more resilient here. Dare to Care working into his Emerald Talisman, soon to be a Stone of Gaia there. Zatman has finally made his way into crit on top of his Executioner, not too far behind Barracuda, and Naw is, well, he's about 800 gold away from being able to finish off his Rod of Tahuti, but if they can hold out long enough, those Agni Bombs will start to hurt a lot, and you don't have much magical defense on the side of COG. It should help a lot with that for mana, but they need to get Xing, I think, more and more involved in these fights. He's got to find a way to stack up this Divine Ruin and put out the damage that he's able to do on Zhang Kui.
Gold Fury gone for free. They have no map control and nowhere to go here. Look at the minimap vision. They don't really have much. They have some on the way of Fire Giant, but that's going to be about it. They know it's coming up shortly, and they got to get there. They got to contest it. So realistically, Dignitas is now on the clock. They had to clear out the right lane, push up the mid lane, make sure there's no minions in the way. The Fire Minions are not going to push up the wave, get everything full HP, and honestly, maybe even buy some pots here and be at their tip-top shape and try to defend this Fire Jet. Because if this Fire Jet goes away, it's very, very statistically unlikely that they will win this match going forward. They're 12,000 gold behind, 15,000 experience. They don't have anything in their favor. They don't even have map control. They have to get this Fire Giant. They're grouping up heavy, pushing the right lane. They've got their ultimates available, 10 ultimates in the game now available. Everyone is at their prime, ready to go here. And the question is, can Dignitas get this victory?
They have to survive this fight now as Dare to Care gets initiated on. If he goes down, it's pretty much all over. Mercury's going to keep him in place. He's going to find the ultimate on the 3, but going nuts in the backline is Omega. She's in a lot of trouble. They're going to use that ultimate as well from Lassus to take him away and strip some of those protections. Crashing in now is Barracuda going to find the knockup on the Last. But the axe is going to be good. Zatman to fall, Xing to go down as well to Anister as the crits come through. Lassus in a lot of trouble. Can the belly fall come out, or can Anister find the mage you look for? He makes it in the well. Last should be A-okay for now. Doesn't matter. They're going to turn their attention to the Titan, where Cognitive is looking for their first win. I'm sorry, their second win of the Smite Pro League here. And with the Titan standing in an Algalong Tornado and only one alive, it looks like that's going to be game in favor of Cognitive Prime. Ladies and gentlemen, they go 2-0 in their first 2 games. Dignitas drops their first 2.
Yeah, that's right. They are now the second team in the Smite Pro League to go 2-0, getting ready to go here, and looking very sharp, realistically. I mean, Cog Prime had every aspect of the game locked down. I think this is a good first 2 days for Dignitas. They got to take it back to the drawing board and figure out what can they do to amplify their strengths and bolster their defenses there, because they can't let that go as far as how things are going. I mean, the mid lane seems like it's a little shaky. They got to start working on that kind of area and make sure that the rotations from left to right is there. They get the vision control there, and they also have to work for the objectives. I mean, they're just making and Apollo's up in the screen here. Let's check out the rotation here for Barracuda.
This is the double kill for Barracuda here as that ultimate comes through. This was big for them. That erased Gnaw, and the Dare to Care goes down, and he's able to chase out Zhonghui as well. But that Bacchus knockup into Apollo knockup into Aoguang ultimate was excellently executed there by Cognitive Prime, and they really opened the game. That was really kind of the nail in the coffin there.
Well, this is what we see a lot from Aoguang. We've seen it from Lobster. We've seen it from Stealth. We're seeing it from a lot of people that if you get a perfect Spirit's Tempest at the start of a fight, you pretty much win every single fight that happens. Like, I mean, we've seen fights, right, where Lobster starts the fight, ult, kills 2 people instantly, and then all of a sudden it's a 3v5. What do you do? Same thing right there. Gnaw was standing there trying to defend the Gold Fury. A giant ethereal dragon came from above and just breathed on him, and he was just vaporized. Yeah. And at that point, it's 45.
Similar to Giannis, what Giannis does. And why they banned Giannis was,
right.
Okay, we don't want to deal with going into a fight and being behind instantly from Unstable Vortex. However, you're going to just deal with Aoguang.
That's right. That's going to be it. But as far as being it, guys, we got that's pretty much it for today. Everything is all locked and ready to go. All games have been completed. So make sure you're tuning in tomorrow for another day of the Smite Pro League. If you're loving everything, head over to the Twitter channels, twitter.com/Smite Pro, and follow all the Smite competitive esports action. And of course, for everyone here at the studio, we'll see you tomorrow starting at 1 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. CEST.
Tomorrow.
Some great games tomorrow. What do we got going on?
And Mortality is going to be your first game at 1:30 Eastern. And then after that, you have SK versus Exposed Secrets coming up. That's going to be a great game as well. Over in North America, starting at 7:30 tomorrow, you're going to have Dignitas versus the Fat Chunks, and the second game is going to be Cognitive Red going up against the boys of Thirst. So those 5 and 6 seeds both getting an opportunity to play tomorrow in both sides of the world. And that is going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. We hope to see you tomorrow for Dry Bear. I'm hi-rez Bart, all the production staff, all of the admins, all of the players. Thank you for coming by, and we will see you tomorrow at 1:30 Eastern.